Hello and good evening from RPM Esports. This is, the Premier Division, our top drivers. And this is round 10 from Miami. Just got our first few cars going to the track now. And I'm going to have a little look at the driver standings. It's never as professional without Spritzy, because he can actually show you what's going on. Instead, I read it to you. But we'll have to make do with that. As we see, we've got 18 tonight as well. We've got a few guys that aren't usually racing in Premier Division, but they've reserved a few times. We've got Puggy down in I would say down in 17th. He's 17th, albeit no times have been set. And we've got Westy in 6th. He is also from 1st Division. So we'll see how they get on tonight. They're very competitive drivers, so testing themselves against the best. Now we've got Andrew, and he will be the first on the flying lap, so we'll stay on board for him. A bit of a lock up there from Andrew, struggling to make that last corner. I know I went straight down the exit road in qualifying, and he's getting a wide run in here, get all that straight line speed down into turn 1, using a lot of the outside gets it stops. You can hear those wheels screeching a bit as he really slams on the brakes, takes a nice bit of curb, gets the throttle on. He'll have a little bit of brakes into here, flick it left, and he's got to flick it straight right, and then we go left again, fast through here, and then you're slamming the brakes and get it turned round and straight on the throttle because we've got a long straight coming up. Blocker, good evening. Good evening to you too. Hope everything is going good for you, and I hope you're going to enjoy the race we have here for you at Miami. Now we're coming down into, we're in sector 2, and it's quite a tough part of the track here. So you slow down here, take a left, and you flick it back round to the right. You can get the throttle down, get as close to the wall as you dare, this left, and then you've got a really tight chicane where you can lose grip easily. Keeps it nice and tidy. You can see he loses a bit of grip on the exit, turns it round, and then a long straight. This is going to be a big area for overtakes in the race, and I think it's where we'll see a lot of different setups come into play. Usually here, I say usually, it's our first race here, first season doing it. You can see he locks up again, really struggling with that last corner here, Andrew. Usually there's a lot of different setups being run here. So people are running less wings, some people running more wings. They've got more grip in the lower speed corners, so we can see a lot of overtakes in that DRS where the speed differentials, if those guys with lower wings can keep close enough throughout the rest of the lap. Giraffe goes first, half a second quicker than Andrew here. And Ferretti, I'm guessing that's a side to lap, he's wearing a nice helmet there. That looks like a Sebastian Vettel tribute helmet. The German flag there. And Glassy goes to first. We'll get on board with, see if we can see Jetfish. He's coming to the end of the lap. He's up there with the championship. And I will check the championship finally for you. I seem to tell you I'd checked that about 15 minutes ago, and I haven't. Smanotla, 127.8, sets the early pace. Jetfish, 128.1, so we got quite a few drivers queuing up behind. Westy, 129.5, the first division driver, setting a competitive time there. As we have someone else that's moved into the top lot there. Brent, 129.1, he'll be hoping for a bit more than that. So, a quick rundown of the championship. We'll ride on board with someone who hasn't set a lap yet. We'll go with Volcano's gone into 8th there. We'll go on board with Maggot's going into the pits. Quinn's on a fly lap here. So we got Colin at the top of the championship, 365 points to Banter Brandon on 357. So it's so tight between them. We've spoke about it all season. Colin's just had the upper hand the last few weeks, so that's a key battle to watch this evening. Then we've got Jetfish, who's kind of in his own little gap in 3rd, Al 4th, who's also in his own little gap from Higgsy in 5th. And then it's quite tight through the middle of the championship. We'll have a quick look at the constructors because I know this has been close so far. We've got Mercedes on 474 in first place, Ferrari on 448, McLaren on 445, and then Aston Martin distant in 4th on 245. So it's all to play for in the constructors between Mercedes, McLaren and Ferrari. So maybe we'll see a bit of teamwork going on as we're on board with Quinn in the second sector here. Wardy saying, come on Team Ferrari. Well, yeah, hopefully some good points for them. They're currently 28 points off Mercedes in the constructors, so they could do with gaining some points back tonight. And we'll see if we can actually... Is Colin's finally on an out lap? Let's see how he gets on. We'll go on board with Colin for the whole lap and see what the pace is going to look like tonight. Backer says he's had a disaster. 2 minutes 07. Yeah, I would say that is a disaster. We've got Entity giving us a poem. I once knew a guy called Entity. He's from Britain and very witty. He's very quick on wets or slicks. And I'll just say his ending result isn't that such a pity. Yeah. The witty part as well, not too sure about that one, Mr. Entity, but we'll move. Colin coming now to the long straight. I'm seeing Entity, appreciated that one in the chat. I'd say looking at your 9th position, maybe it is time to focus up and get yourself into the top 5 positions. Because Colin will be moving you down very shortly. And he's round the last corner here, Colin, gets it tucked in on the curbs, and again rides that curb, and 1:26.7. That's 1.1 seconds faster than the second place, and that is the early pace for tonight then. We've got Brandon also on the outlap, the championship rival. We'll go on board with this lap to see what he can do. And see if he can, it'd be interesting if we can see these guys start next to each other on the front row of the grid. Because we've got 4 races left and there's only 7 points, was it 7? 7 or 8 points between them. So it'd be really interesting coming toward the end of the season if these guys can keep that battle right to the last race. So nice and tidy from Brandon there. It looked like he had a little bit of a twitch from the back end there, but he keeps it all together. He'll flick this in, gets nicely on the curb there, and again opens up this left-hander. Get those brakes on, get it tucked in. Nice change of direction and on the power, straddling the curb and away. Good evening, Spritzy. Looking forward to having you back. It's very lonely in the commentary booth, and it has been for the last few weeks, so excited to have you back in here with your pink G&Ts. RPM's F1 Widow. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you too. Hope you enjoy the viewing tonight. Oh, and Brandon has a bit of a... Oh, and he's saw him lose the back end on the right-hander, and then he's lost it fully on the left. I am sorry for catching that. As we see Maggot go into 13th. We got Davey, he's just leaving the pits now for his first lap. We got Glassy, the other McLaren, he's on a lap. And I'm seeing that Mrs. Bold with the new name. Very nice. Well, Colin's doing his job tonight so far, you'll be pleased to know. Wardy saying how some drivers get fast times for low wings. I don't know how they get the traction in the corners. I mean, I ran low wings yesterday. I think race pace wise, it's really, really good. Qualifying, it's you're just trying to hold on for dear life and hope that you can get the lap time together, which I think that's when you see the higher wings really, really work. But I think in a race, if you can stay close, because obviously they're on higher fuel loads, there's more tyre management going on, it pays such dividends on the back straight that, you know, I know myself, I had such easy overtakes in the DRS zone there. As Luke moves himself up to 5th, so it's looking good for Ferrari so far. We've got Al from Mercedes down in 10th. Let's see what he's doing. He's currently 4th in the championship. And it looks like he's working with his teammate here to get a bit of a toe on this back straight, and let's see what that can do. I mean, he's 4 tenths up at the moment. Currently, that will move him up to 8th. So see if he can really get it together on here. Becker says disaster again. Yeah, I know Becker he's not a big fan of this track. And it's showing so far. As Al, he puts himself up to 8th, couldn't find any more time in that final sector. But some good teamwork from Mercedes there. Who else we got? We got Brent, he's gone 4th, he's on an out lap. Let's see who else we got. We got Volcano coming around the final sector. He's 8 tenths up. This could push him right up the leaderboard. And it does. Fourth position for him. The 4th driver in the 127s, because Collins managed to get himself in the 126s. Who else have we got going around? We've got Quinn. Apparently he's 4 tenths up through sector 1. Hopefully he can hold on to that. Quinn's been looking very good the last few races. And we got, at a minute, 6th and 7th, the 2 brothers. We could see some tussling there. Now it's saying he's 1 second down. We'll stay on board to see what it says in sector 2. You'll have to excuse me tonight, chat, if my voice is even more monotone than normal. I'm struggling with a sore throat at the moment, so yeah, apologies in advance. Quinn now onto the back straight. He's not using any ERS, so I'm guessing he's bailed on this lap. We've got Davey. I have seen your comment, Big Puggy, but you might need to give me some context there. I'm really, really lost on that one. Glassy now through the first sector. What can he do in his McLaren? He's missed the last few weeks. It'd be nice to see Glassy have a good race here. Just missing the apex a little bit there, Glassy, but it's so tight ahead of him. Just finding a 10th could see him up as far as 6th here. Can he keep it together through there? You lose so much traction through there. The back end really steps out on you. Get the power down now. Start deploying that ERS. Yeah, I thought that Spritzy as well. I was surprised to see Puggy even able to make a comment, because usually he's elsewhere during qualifying. Round the last corner, Glassy, what can he do? And he's pitting. That's what he's doing. I'll try and get someone on that. Maggot's apparently half a second up, coming into the final sector. around the final, well, I say final corner, there's technically 2 more here, but it feels like the final corner because this is all flat. DRS on, and Maggot, he does improve by 6 temps apparently. Let's see who else we got. We got Fretty on a lap, he's 3 temps up at this point. Sounds like he's got someone behind him, he does. A Red Bull, maybe they're working together, sister team and all that. Oh, and he makes a mess of that one. He's invalidated the lap. I'll have to watch out because there's a Red Bull behind on a fast lap. No, not on a fast lap, is it? No, that's Brent on an out lap. Oh, Becker's having a disaster again. I don't know whether that's to do with him getting wheeled into the pit lane. We've got Brandon in the pits as well. So Brandon's still yet to set a time. This was happening last week in Imola, but he did a fantastic drive to get up through the field. He's going to need similar again. We'll get back to Colin, who's on his outlap, a very, very slow outlap at this point, and see what he can do. This will be his final run. Only a minute 15 seconds left to qualifying, so Brandon will be struggling to set a time. Colin giving us a bit of showboat in there. Going sideways, and what can he do on this lap? 1:26.7 to beat. I mean, the commitment from Colin is incredible. Absolutely nailing in each corner. Maggot's just crashed out. It's unbelievable to watch how close he can get to the walls and how perfectly he takes the lap. I love watching it. It's nothing like being on board with me. You should actually see how you're meant to drive when you're on board with Colin. Coming down into the last few corners before the long straight. Nice and tidy. He'll flick it now to the left, get on the brakes, get it tucked into the chicane, and you see there how smooth it is and how he's turning in. Gets there, good drive, gets right up to the wall. He'll open his DRS very, very shortly. That opens now. He's 1 temp up at this point. Can he get down to a 1:26.5? Get it slowed down for this corner, get it tucked in nice, get the drive out hopefully. Very smooth, uses all the exit there. Onto the curb and across the line. He does improve, but only by 400ths. But he is nearly a second ahead of anyone else at the moment. So great qualifying session by Sminotler in the Aston Martin. Bakker has had a disaster there. I think there used to be a rule, I don't know if it still exists. It was like, I think, is it the 105% rule or 107% rule? If you weren't within 107% of the time of the pole position, you wouldn't be allowed to race. So if that is no longer a rule, that's good for Mr. Bakker here. Being yeah, I can see the laughing face there, Mr. Bakker. I'm trying to calculate this as quick as I can. 41 seconds off the pace. Just to really rub it in there for you. So we got anyone else on a flying lap? We got Quinn coming into the pits, and that is it. That will be our grid. Oh, and Davey went up into second. I completely missed that. Sorry for that, Davey. What a lap time! And that's a bit of the cat amongst the pigeons with Davey and Sminotler, second and third. And Brandon has got all the drivers to go through to catch his championship rival. Colin will be hoping for a nice clean start. And Brandon will be hoping he can just make up as many positions as possible. And that's where we might start to see different strategies starting to play out. And we've got Bakker down in 17th, he'll be disappointed. We've got Puggy at the back, but that's anyone who knows RPM knows that's Puggy's qualifying strategy. Right, so we've got Colin in first, a whole 7.5 temps clear of anyone else. It's really then quite tight in the midfield, quite close. So we could see some different setups playing out, different strategies, and there we go. Yeah, Bakker 40.6 seconds behind. If Bakker could let us know where he lost that time, was it in all sectors or just one? And Brandon and Puggy with a lot of ground to make up in the race here. So I think currently we're seeing everybody leave the session. I think there must be an issue with the lobby here. So I will pause the stream for now. I will be right back when a new lobby is set up, and then we will have, I think, 28 laps around Miami with the same grid as we've just seen, and we'll see how we get on. So I will see you shortly. Hello and welcome back. We will be going racing. Sorry about the delay. As Britzy mentioned, maybe that was a bit of tension. I'm hoping you all imagined the advert break and the crazy Formula One overtaking montage. Yeah, because hopefully we'll be seeing some more of that in the race. Not necessarily the stellar adverts. We don't want to be seeing any of that in the race. No drinking and driving, please. And we'll have a good race here, hopefully. So those are the recommended strategies from the game. We'll see what tyres people are on now, as you can see on your screen to the left there. And we've got the formation lap before we go racing for 29 laps round Miami. So, we've got the front three all on the mediums. Then we've got Jetfish, the first of the hard runners. Glassy, Brent, mediums as well. Then a load of hard runners. Westy and Backer, mediums, trying to make a fast start. And hard runners for Branton and Puggy. Volcano down in 19th on mediums. Yeah, I'm a bit unsure about that, Spritzy, because I'm pretty sure I saw Volcano up in 4th. Or it might have been 5th, maybe, but he was right up at the top, so don't know what's happened with that part of the grid. Somehow Backer, with his possibly the slowest lap ever recorded in Formula One, has managed to now out-qualify him, so I'm sure we'll find out at some point why that is, or if it's just a complete glitch. As Fretty and Westy get disqualified, so they will be starting on very, very cold tyres. So they must have come together on the formation lap. Fretty saying as usual. Well, yeah. Haven't got much to say about that. Again, I apologise for my voice tonight. Just struggling a little bit. But hopefully the guys will do the rest for us in a race, so we won't have to think about my monotone voice. So Colin takes his place on the grid. We've still got the last few cars. They are quite a way behind. Oh, I don't know what the Alpine's doing there. Nearly colliding with Volcano there. Luke's now been disqualified. Some not disqualified. So we've got quite a few drivers going to be starting on cold tyres here. Andrew also disqualified. That might be from missing a grid spot. Right, but here we go. So we've got 4, 5 lights. Okay, let's go. And Colin gets a great start. Sminotla really struggling off start. So just Jetfish, great start. Going up the inside there. We'll move on board, see what we can see here. Davey now in 3rd place. Jetfish absolutely flying off the start again. It did sound like there was contact behind that. It seems to be Entity down in 17th. And we've got Fretty making a move on Maggot as well. So Jetfish trying to chase after Colin early on. We've got Brandon up to 9th. He's done it again. Unbelievable start through the field from down in 17th. And we got Brent spinning. That's another place for Brandon. And let's have a little look what's happened there. Brent spinning round again. We got a fight happening here. Volcano Entity. And hopefully Entity's focusing on his racing and not his poetry skills. Can he keep the inside line there? Oh! And Volcano just gets... Well, he doesn't get rid of that room. It was all very tight as they braked later than Maggot in front of them. And Entity... I think Entity must have got hit there at the inside, which we missed completely. So he's now down in 19th. We've got... Sminotla is close behind Glassy here. And we've got Brandon behind that. We'll go on board with Brandon and Luke. Luke would be desperate to keep him behind for the constructors. Work his magic Ferrari. I'll try it for the third time. For Ferrari. As Brandon and the McLarens, we've got Glassy up in fourth. They're looking to get some points on Ferrari here. But the Mercedes in second and sixth looking strong again. And Brandon will go on board. Luke just keeping his car in the right place. Brandon's going to have to be a bit patient here. And Luke looks like he ran a little bit wide on the apex there. Brandon definitely a little bit more tidy through there. But they are gaining on Al in front of them as well. Now we've got one, well, I say long straight. It's a straight with some kinks in it, which leads us into the chicane sector and then onto the final straight. Will we see any passes here? Brandon seems to be the closest on track, just 3 tenths behind. We've also got Backer caning on Fretty. We'll go and have a quick look at that. And Backer has to sit behind. Well, so far for Backer, much better than his qualifying. As Nick is quoting Miami, the song by Will Smith, that will now be stuck in my head for the whole way round. What a great tune that is. Brandon just 2 tenths behind here. We got Al just 2 tenths behind his teammate ahead. And they stay there. But Al having a real look. Glassy gets a bit out of shape through there. They're going side by side now. Can they keep it clean? Yeah, that Mercedes seems to have the straight line speed over Glassy here. And still side by side. Glassy looking like he's running that extra wing, just able to hold it on the inside and gets straight back ahead. But now Luke and Brandon getting very, very interested in this. Colin has now gapped Jetfish 3.8 seconds. Davey on the back of Jetfish now after Jetfish's good start. So we might see Davey really trying to reel him in and get past him and get clear of the rest of the field here. Smonotler keeping with these two, and then we got this 4-car battle here. And then we got another 4-car battle behind Giraffe in 9th place with Westy and Quinn. And Andrew on the back of that as well. So, Brandon too far back. Glassy and Al still battling. We go, will we get a good camera angle here? We'll take the risk. We do get an alright camera angle. And Glassy again getting ever so sideways. And, ooh, it's close through there. There was a bit of contact that put the McLaren off bit, and the other McLaren's got caught up in it as well. And now Giraffe and his 4-car train are right on the back of this. Here goes Brandon, he's got DRS. Luke seems to have good straight line speed as well. He's got DRS, but Brandon's going to have a run. He's using his ERS. He knows this is important at the moment. Goes up the inside, gets it slowed down, and gets the move done. Glassy again on that throttle, really getting that car out of shape. And that's going to be damaging those medium tyres compared to these hard runners. We need to try and keep it as smooth as possible. I expected him to potentially give that position over to Brandon there, but he hasn't done it. Will he ever let him go through here? It's looking like he has now. Yeah, and that's good team racing. But Luke's right onto the back of him now. He's got to keep it tight. Luke had to pull out of that one a bit, but then Glassy's gone a bit out of shape. So Glassy really struggling in these early stages. And now Brandon will go hunting for Al. You've got Jetfish, who has been overtaken by Davey. Oh, and Brandon! Just as I switch, I'm sorry for that, chat. And he's gone backwards now. He's in 12th, so he'll be really disappointed. That's undone his great start. We got Backer, who got through on Fretty right behind him now, and Backer seems to have really good race pace here. And that's good to know after he, by his own admission, had a disaster in qualifying. Yeah, it was pretty bad qualifying pace. Seems to be contact. Fretty and the Alpine of Andrew coming together. And we've got the other Alpine, Maggot, on the back of this. And it's all getting really, really feisty at the back here. 15th being the final point scoring position. So this still does count for their race. And the free ride. Does he get sandwiched? Well, the Alpine's fighting now. So Andrew, Maggot, will there be any team orders, or will they fight all the way through here? They're still fighting now. Frey's dropped back from this a bit, so it's the Alpines fighting. As Brandon pits on the hard tyres. So he must have got damage when he lost the car. And Andrew goes through on Maggot. Oh, and he spun! Does everyone avoid him? He's hit the rear wing against that. Oh, yeah. Everyone's avoided him. Good stuff. Everyone's still facing the right direction. Well, apart from Andrew for a brief second there. So Brandon has got it all to do again. As his teammate Glassy spins, and it's an absolute disaster for McLaren. Oh, and he's hit the wall as well. Watch out, cars. Oh, he's hit the other wall. I really need to stop switching to people because every time I do, they are spinning out at the moment. And now he's going to come under pressure from Entity, who would be loving this. He had a disaster of a first lap, and he's coming back into it, seeing everyone go off the track themselves. And will he catch him there? He won't quite. Spritzy put in laughing. I mean, I can't really say anything about spinning here. I spun about 4 times last night, so and these guys go much quicker than me. So the fact that I'm spinning is quite embarrassing. As Jetfish and Smanotla having a battle, and so Smanotla has come through from having a poor start, and Davey down in 6th. Sorry guys, I've missed what happened there, but something's happened with Davey. He's lost quite a few positions there. Maybe he had a moment. But Smanotla up now to 2nd place on those medium tyres, so he's going to have to try and get Jetfish as much as he can, because these hard runners will be going much, much longer than the medium runners. Colin in a complete league of his own at the moment, 9.5 seconds. Oh, and Smanotla getting all out of shape, collects it, but he's going to be really, really under pressure on this straight here. Jetfish will have DRS, and it's going to be hard to defend against. He'll force him round the outside. That's exactly what he's doing, but it's just not going to place. But he's late on the brakes and beautiful on the brakes from Smanotla, and keeps Jetfish behind. But he's going to be, unfortunately, 3 corners time exposed to DRS again. And once again, we're seeing Aston Martins and Mercedes in Premier Division having a fight on track. Not the first time this season. Gets a good exit there, Smanotla. He'll come under pressure again. Jetfish using some ERS. As all that happens, they've lost a further 2 seconds to Colin. He can't defend the inside here. It's gone, staying around the outside. Late on the brakes again. Jetfish just using his room, but we got a switcheroo. Or to switch back. And there we go, Smanotla, beautiful racing. Defensive masterclass so far. And he is still ahead. So this is a real battle for 2nd place. Locks up a little bit through there. That's going to give Jetfish another look. It's going to get tight through here, though. Not really an overtaking opportunity. He'll probably have to just sit in his dirty air and hope for the DRS zone again. And he keeps it a bit tidier through there that time. Jetfish running a little bit wider. He's going to get the DRS, but he's a lot further back this time. And just looking at the field, we're starting to see some gaps forming in the field. None quite as big as the gap to Colin. Well, the gap to Puggy, but that's right at the back of the field. He's just pitted as well, and gets very close under braking there. And this is the tightest battle on track apart from Maggot and Brent. And Maggot's just got past Brent as we say that. Oh, and all out of shape from Smanotla. He's let Jetfish up the inside. Jetfish should get a DRS as well, I think, through here. So can Smanotla hang on to the back and get the move back done? But as we know, those Mercedes... Oh no, he's got the DRS himself. The Mercedes have so much straight line speed. Owl's now catching both of these guys. Just looks like Smanotla is struggling on these medium tyres a little bit more. A yellow flag in sector 2 as Andrew looks to have spun. We'll go and have a little look. Maybe just get out of shape in a chicane. That's allowed the 2 McLarens through. And we got Maggot. Oh, he's in the wall! And where is he on track? Just trying to see. Oh, and that's at the final corner. Glassy's about to come past it now. Well done to Maggot for staying out of the way and not rejoining unsafely there. He's going to get moving now. He'll be in the pit lane out of the way of Brandon. Very good. That's another another position for the McLarens as we go on board with Colin for a second. Very, very peaceful race here. Can't hear the sounds of any other engines, and he's just getting on with it. And just in a total rhythm. We'll get back to the action and watch what Spinotler and Jetfish are up to. Nick says Spinotler. Yeah, well, he's not had a full spin yet. He's done well as he gets out of shape again there. He's doing well to keep it on track, but he really does seem to be struggling with the back end. He's in the DRS zone now, but 8 tenths behind. That will be too far to make a move on the straight. And he's not really taking much time out of Jetfish at all on the straight. About 2 tenths there, so he's going to have to get closer and keep it together on the exits. And he's lost out there. Jetfish getting a great exit. Just looking, Luke up into 5th. Really good race from Luke. I know he's... I think he would have been disappointed last week. I think he had to come in together with Becker late in Imola. So it'd be nice to see Luke get a race. He's doing well so far. And that'll be good points again for Ferrari in the championship, especially with Colin winning. We got a yellow flag in sector 3. That is Galassi, so he's had a moment. We'll see if we can see what that is. And that's at the final corner as well. So a few people struggling for traction through there. One man not struggling for traction was Colin, who we were on board with very briefly there. And Galassi, to top it off, has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Back on board with Sminotla and just not really managing to make an impression on Jetfish yet. He is a bit closer this lap. Takes a bit wider there. Can he not spin it up there? He's closer here. That's a bit tidier. So he's now 3 tenths closer than he was last lap, but that's going to be too far back. He only gained 2 tenths in the last lap. He's going to have to get even closer. Just going to have a quick look at the winners and losers so far. We'll put it on leader as well to see. So we got penalties as well. 3 seconds to Puggy, 3 seconds to Volcano. Oh, and Giraffe's out. Giraffe's out. Let's see if we can see where that's happened. Oh, and it's the same corner again. And people pitting. I think that's a great move by Westy. Up in 9th here, doing very, very well. We got Backer also in the pits. Reading that so well. They're going to put the hard tyres on and try and go to the end. It says you should pit around lap 12. By the time we go racing, it will be lap 12 or 13. So they are really going to benefit from this. That's where I think the medium strategy really plays to your advantage if there is a safety car, which there is. Well, I do believe there is. It just says yellow flags in 1, 2 and 3. And they've essentially got a free pit stop. Colin will be able to get in and out before Jetfish can get to him. And Brandon, yeah, saying he's not having the best race. Well, you've got your hard tyres on now. Stick with it, and you never know what's happen because the safety car is out and you've got yourself a free pit stop. So the winners and losers: Volcano up 10 places. Not really sure what happened with the qualifying. And Smith, yeah, great point. You can see the safety car on the minimap. Didn't even think about that. Brandon never giving up. That's good to hear. The losers, Glassy down 12 places and Volcano up 10 places. We know he's got good pace around here. Al also up 6 places, Fretty 6 places, and Backer having a great race so far, up 6 places after what can only be described as a horrific qualifying. I think chapter 10 that was, horrific qualifying, chapter 11, great race pace. And Schmidt says, let's go Backer as we're on the subject. Well, he's doing well so far for you. As all the leaders pit, Luke will be in no danger of being double stacked with Colin having that massive 18-second gap. He would have now been picked up by the safety car. Didn't Rick Astley sing that one? And apologies if I have been silent. I've just realised I was on mute when I've been talking this whole time. As Colin goes now, and Jetfish tries to go with him. He has gone with him, gets good drive out of there, and will be resuming, using his ERS as well. Probably trying to stay in DRS for this lap, but he's got 2 laps to wait for that. Colin will be trying to gap the field, but Jetfish might have the advantage on tyres. I say that, but I think Colin tends to have the advantage on pace. Sminotla already dropped 2 seconds from this fight. We've got Fretty and Al very, very close. We'll get on board with that. And look at this. What Spritzy was saying, it's getting really feisty already, and we'll stay on board for this because it sounds like that's what Spritzy wants to see. And what did I say? There's Luke. He's trying to have a little look at this as well. Al up the inside. Luke is having a look as well. Is he going to go for it on Fretty? No, he thinks better of it. Fretty stuck in behind. Sminotla still not pulling away. Jetfish half a second behind Colin. And yeah, it could be interesting. Get nice and feisty through here. Davey picks up a 3-second penalty. Unfortunately for him, he must have gone straight across at the chicane or something. He gets overtaken by Quinn, and here comes Backer. Here comes Backer, chapter 12 now, I think. Here we go. Can't get a great angle on it. He's got a double pass. Wouldn't you just know it? Great race pace from Backer, and he's through. Oh, and Haas is having a look back. Back has to run a little bit wider, but he should have that done. He does have that done. And great moves from Backer there, taking advantage, running a lower wing setup. And now he's talking. He's off after this fight in front. Fretty now dropping back off Al. Al now giving Sminotla something to think about in front. Luke right on the back of this. And yeah, you can see Fretty really struggling on those harder tyres. Smith absolutely loving that one from Backer, and that was beautiful by Luke. Very opportunistic, but absolutely fantastic overtake. And Luke is on fire tonight. And now he's going to try and get after those Mercedes. And we've got Brent spinning. Oh, and he's took his front wing off. That's a shame for Brent. He's not really got going here tonight. And Maggot also passed him. Jetfish still hanging on in there with Colin as we've got Al on Sminotla. Close in the chicane. Takes a lot of curb there, Sminotla. He does seem to really struggle through these set of corners with traction. We've got another yellow flag in sector 2. That is Glassy. Having some issues with the back end tonight, Glassy. I should clarify, that's the back end of his car. Before anyone in the chat has a chance to say anything. And Quinn and Westy switching positions there. Now Luke will be looking at this. Manolo seems to be struggling on those hards. Luke's got to see these mediums to the end though, so he's got the pace advantage at the moment, but he'll struggle later on in the race as Fretty is dropping back off him already. And we got Backer also closing in on Fretty now, with Davey not too far behind Backer there. And Sminotla actually, he seems to really, really close up on Al in the first sector. It seems to be quick through there, and it's just through the chicane. So the 2 or 3 corners, the lower speed corners, just doesn't seem to quite have the traction. As Luke gets very, very close, and Luke's very good on the brakes through there. And you see again, yeah, through the lower speed corners, Sminotla just getting a bit out of shape. Luke will be licking his lips with this. He'll be really close behind. But they could be in a DRS train, which could hurt him. Now Backer just 7 tenths behind, Fretty behind. I will put it back onto intervals so we can see those gaps. Quinn also close behind on Andrew. I will go on board with Quinn, who is Luke's brother, just briefly to see. He's a bit closer. But he's got Volcano for company. Volcano sending it up the inside, keeping it clean. They give each other enough room. Quinn holds on to the position, and he'll get back after Andrew here. We'll go back on board with the front runners. And wouldn't you believe it, I've missed another one. Sminola just got overtaken by Luke. I'm having an absolute disaster tonight. But it will never be as bad as Mr. Backer's 2-minute 7-second lap in qualifying. Now, Luke is going to be trying to get after Al here. He can smell a podium. He can smell big points for Ferrari here. As Davey looks to have a moment. Oh, is it Backer? What's happened to Backer? And Backer is off. Has he got down? He's got no wing. Oh, and what a shame, because Backer was absolutely flying. Not sure what happened there. He's just got to nurse it home to the pits, but that really does not help his strategy. We got Westy up the inside. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful on... Oh, and they're keeping it clean. He's had got the look. Oh, and wonderful racing there from Westy. And he is passed. And Westy up in 8th. What a race from him. He's really showing his pace. I know his race got cut short last night after a first lap incident. He got taken out. So good to see him having a good race of it tonight. We'll get back on board with Luke in search of the podium here. As Quinn goes past Andrew on those fresh or medium tyres. I know there's been a safety car and I know someone's out. I'm sorry I missed that. With my tonsillitis, I was actually getting a glass of water. It's incredibly annoying having to keep taking a break to have a sip of water, because otherwise my throat's going to be an absolute nightmare tomorrow. So, who have we had crash out? That is Volcano. Well, it's come at a very nice time for Backer there, who had a change of wing. It now brings him back in the race, but he's got to make those soft tyres last around 10 laps, which is going to be very, very difficult to do, because the mediums only last, I think, about 15 laps at a push. Any spring rolls tonight? No, maybe that's why I've got this this throat issue. Too many spring rolls. I don't know if that's a thing. It's just soups for me at the moment, which is a bit depressing after my Chinese feast that everyone was so interested in last week. Luke and Al pit. Colin stays out on those hard tyres, but we know he's got the pace, and we got some soft tyres going on. Jetfish's car. The Mercedes are going extremely bold tonight. Just for chat as well, if we've got any predictions going into the last few laps here as well, and we've got Westy. I like what he's doing here. He's up to 3rd. Staying out on those hards. They will go to the end, and well, he's stuck to his guns, and his, well, they're kind of unofficial teammates, Alfa Romeos, Quinn and Westy 3rd and 4th, as the guys at the front started pitting. And let's see how many places we have gained here. Yeah, so Westy and Puggy up 12. Yeah, mentioned to Puggy as well there. I know he's got a penalty, but he's from 1st division as well. Absolutely flying. Doing my division proud here. Both guys much quicker than I am, and that's why we're seeing them much higher up. I think I would have been about Backer's qualifying time off the pack per lap. So, yeah, very well done to those guys, and well done to Quinn as well up in 4th. He will have a taste of, a scent of the podium here. He's switched with his brother, who was in 4th, who's put the soft tyres on now. So Brandon, he got caught up with a Backer crash and he lost his wing again. So it's not going Brandon's way at the moment. but he's still in the points at the moment. But it is a big, big, big point advantage to Colin in that championship battle at the moment. So for Brandon's sake, hopefully he can make up some positions here, because Colin has looked absolutely imperious here. He's been so quick, so in control. But what's going to make it interesting now is Colin's on some older hard tyres, Jetfish on fresh soft. But Jetfish is going to have to go for it early doors, because those soft tyres are going to go off so quickly. So if the longer the race goes on here after the safety car, the more it hurts the soft runners. We've got Davey and Backer pitting again for some more fresh softs. Probably a good move from them. They get even less tyre wear on to make them last. And what have I missed there? Andrew and Fretty, who put fresh mediums on, so they could come into it there, because they're on a very competitive tyre which will have the durability here to the end. We know the hard tyres will have the durability, but they will be slower than the medium tyres, and obviously the soft tyres will be quick but will wear incredibly fast. Soft in Miami, 8 laps. Yeah, I know, that's it's going to be a very tough one. They're going to get, I think the last couple of laps they are really going to be just trying to keep it on the road, but they're going to have such a pace advantage off the start. They'll be hoping just to clear the pack, as we'll have the safety car coming in this lap, I imagine. Right, so when will Colin go this time? He backs the field up there. He's going to get ready to go now. I think he pulled the trigger around here last time. He's waited a bit longer here. He's waited really quite long, and there he goes. He catches Jetfish slightly, I was off guard, but I mean you can see the soft, so quick to accelerate. And he's under pressure straight away. You can see how late Jetfish can brake. There's some contact going on behind. I'm not sure exactly what. Alfa Romeo's getting very close. Westy on those hards will maybe have a little bit of a pace disadvantage to Quinn here, and we know Quinn's very quick. As Jetfish still, he's right on the back. Well, Colin's had a great little few corners there. Half a second he's pulled out. Quinn just 2 tenths behind his teammate in the Alfa Romeo. We've got Puggy and, well, I've got to mention Entity there. He is up to 6th position after getting hit on the first lap. So he's having a great recovery, but he's got to see those medium tyres for another 9 laps. As he gets passed by Al, we're seeing the soft runners really start to make an impression on this race now. And Jetfish very close to Colin here. He has got such speed on those tyres. He's going to have loads of grip coming out of here. And we know he's got straight line speed. There is an incident at the back that seems to be Glassy again. Behind the 2 Aston Martins down in 16th. And here we go. He's using his ERS. He knows this could be his chance. And look at that straight line speed. And he's going for it. Up the inside. How late does he dare to brake? We'll go on board with Colin. Colin, very clever. Wily puts him back in for the switch back. But he's not going to have the grip. They get close. There goes Jetfish on the soft tyres. But Colin now using his ERS, and how late will he brake? And side by side, give each other enough room. Still side by side, Jetfish ahead. He's got the insides here. Colin has to run out a bit wider. But Colin's gone round him. And how's he managed that? Unbelievable driving from the pair here. And they took 3 seconds out of the cars behind them. Wow, Spatling, unbelievable. And we've got round 2 here. We've got Jetfish on 60% ERS, Colin on 40% ERS, desperately trying to get out of DRS range, because I mean, we just saw the Mercedes straight line speed without DRS. It's absolutely incredible. Al gets past Westy and he must have got past Quinn. So, Al now up there. Oh, and what's happened to Colin? Oh, I think that's a bit of lag. I don't know what quite happened there. I think there was a bit of lag there, which is what we saw, because all of a sudden then Colin was up further up the road. Is he human? I'm not quite sure. He superhuman possibly, because that was just unbelievable racing. Did Jetfish get... No, Jetfish's got no damage, so that must have been a little glitch we saw there. Brandon up to 8th, making some inroads. He's got to keep going. Jetfish did lose 1.2 seconds though. Not sure what exactly happened there. RPM F1 Widow says, are you saying he sure is human or he sure is superhuman? Not quite sure. Brandon up to 7th, really starting to make some inroads. He'll be hoping to get past Colin's teammate, but Colin's teammate Luke is on the fresh soft tyres. We've got another yellow flag. That's Andrew spinning. The two Aston Martins up to 10th and 11th now. The soft runners really carving their way through this field, as Colin now 2 seconds ahead of Jetfish. And I'll get back on board with these guys behind. We've got Westy and Luke battling. Westy on those older hard tyres is going to struggle to fight that one back, and yeah, he thinks better of it, but still racing very well and doing some good times on those hard tyres. He's looking very good here, Westy. Luke now going chasing. We got Brandon. He'll be hoping to clear Westy and get past Luke and get after the Mercedes if he can, because Colin is out in front and pulling away. Just a human. Well, yeah. He's, well, you know, I must be subhuman after watching that racing, because that was unbelievable and I can't do anything like that. Spritzy saying, I bet I can do the ironing much faster than Colin. Maybe we should have a post-season special of who can do the ironing faster. And that'll be exciting for the post-season, maybe. Luke now taking Quinn, his brother, round the outside. Maybe he's learned something from Colin round there. And he's going hunting for Al in the Mercedes in front. And this is a big championship battle for the constructors between Ferrari and Mercedes, with the McLarens really faltering today. We got Brandon, who's got past Westy. He is behind Quinn now, but he is going to be a little too far back, and Quinn's got a look on Luke. Will they battle, the brothers? They will battle. No love lost here, but he'll have the inside line. Backer picks up a 3-second penalty. Brandon getting very interested in this, but he'll have to stay patient through here. Focus on his exit onto the straight through the left-hander. And he does get a nice exit, but so does the Alfa Romeo in front of him. Oh, and Brandon, what late brakes, what bravery on the brakes there, and he is through. What a move. Seen some great overtakes tonight from the two championship rivals. Now Brandon is going after Luke here, and maybe he can feel a podium position in front of him, but he is 2.5 seconds behind there. We've got, Backer must have slipped down. He's down in 13th. Sminotla up in 8th. Davey in 9th. We've got Entity dropping down to 10th, but he must be doing some incredible tyre management on those 14-lap-old mediums. We've got a yellow in Sector 3. That looks like it could be Fretty. It is Fretty. Glassy will get a position back, so he gets a point for McLaren. That could be essential come the end of the season with how tight this constructors is. But Ferrari and Mercedes are really going to put a gap to McLaren tonight, as things stand, unless Brandon can do anything about that. But I think Colin has this absolutely wrapped up here. And those soft tyres are going to start to get very, very worn, and we could start to see Brandon and Quinn come back into this, but they are also on quite old mediums. I think Westy, on the hard tyres, where he's sat, is not in a terrible position. He's got Davey on slightly fresher soft tyres than the other soft tyres running behind him. And yeah, he might be in a good position, Westy, there on the hard tyres. Might have made a good choice to stay out, similar to his compatriot from Scotland, Colin. As it's the tightest battles on track is between Brandon, Luke, and Quinn. And Brandon, I didn't see this. He has got through on Luke, and he is right behind Al. And again, another great recovery from Brandon, just to keep this championship alive. Because Colin's going to win again tonight, but if he can get himself up to second, which is going to be difficult, he can only be, it might only be a 5-point deficit that he loses to Colin, as Glassy sets the fastest lap. That's also important for McLaren. So McLaren gain another extra point. And Brandon very, very close on Al here. Maybe Al will try and slow him down a little bit to keep Jetfish protected. But Jetfish's tyres will be starting to lose life, and maybe Brandon will come back into it. It depends all on tyre management and how they're doing it at the moment. We've got Quinn and Luke very close again. I wonder if Luke's starting to struggle on those tyres. He had started to pull away, but he's getting reeled back in. And look at Brandon now. What an exit. And maybe Al's really starting to struggle on those soft tyres now. He's dropped about 4.5 seconds from his teammate. Goes a bit wide there. And Brandon's going to have a good look at him here. Can't make the move. He's got a straight here in DRS. Al's still saving a bit more ERS than Brandon at this point, but he's going to have a good run. Will he try and get to the inside? He does look at the inside. Al leaves him in the room. We'll go off board, and yeah, Brandon, he's got the inside line to this corner, and he'll keep that position, gets his car in the right position, and now through the chicane, but Al will have DRS back on him here. Al has a little snap of oversteer, but he gets a good exit onto the straight, half a second behind, using up all his ERS, as I imagine. Oh, Brandon's not even touching his. Here comes Al. And Brandon knows at this point he doesn't want an incident though. He needs to keep all those wheels on his wheels on his car, because all these points count in the championship. He's forced to the outside, but Al then locks up a bit, runs wide himself. Brandon having a look up the inside, and he gets it done. Another move we've seen through there. Great racing again, and Luke's right on the back of this now, as well as his brother Quinn. So now, can Brandon get away before the DRS zone? He seems to have got a better line through there, and he'll get a better exit as well. Yeah, he takes a couple of attempts out of Al there. Al will be opening his DRS very, very shortly. We got a yellow flag. I'm not sure who that's for. That's Glassy in the pits. So is Glassy putting some fresh softs on to try and make sure of that fastest lap? I think he is. He's got the gap to Fretti. McLaren trying to get any points they can back on Mercedes and Ferrari tonight, because 5 of the 6 drivers really competing in this constructors are in the top 5 tonight. And we've got Luke also putting Al under pressure, so Mercedes out front in the constructors. could be losing a few points here to Ferrari as well if Luke can get past. And we've got Westy in 8th, he's still hanging on to 2.7 behind Davey. And will these soft tyres really go off in the next few laps? Luke gets very close to the back of Al there. As we see Brandon take quite a lot of time out of Jetfish through the first sector. He's got a lap and 2/3 to see if he can make up 3.5 seconds, but he took 6 tenths out of Jetfish in the first sector. It's all to play for, and we know that his teammate has taken a fastest lap away from Colin. Can he get even more damage limitation here? Colin also having to manage his old hard tyres now. And a shout out to Entity there, 18 lap old mediums, unbelievable tyre management, but it is a war of attrition here at the moment. Bakker's also pitted, will he be going through the fastest lap? And Luke and Al come together! Oh no! And that'll be a real shame for Luke, because he was hoping to make some points, and he now loses out to his brother, and will put some more degradation through those tyres, having that slide around that corner. Right, we've got Jetfish 2.9 ahead of Brandon. He looks like he's having to be a bit smoother on those tyres at the moment, Jetfish. Luke is straight back past Quinn, so he's back up into 5th. Very important for the championship, as I've been banging on about. It feels like forever. Now, Brandon, 2.7 seconds off, so he's took 1.5, I make it, out of Jetfish in the last lap, but Jetfish's tyres even worse going into this lap. Can he do it? It might all come down to that final DRS section. He's took another 5 tenths out of him through the first few corners, and you can see Jetfish is having to be oh so careful. And here comes Brandon, he's got him in sight. We can see him going through the left-hander as we speak. 1.5, the tyres have gone for the soft runners. And we can see it on Al's car as well. Luke only half a second behind now. We'll quickly go on board with that. So Luke and Al will be fighting again. DRS opening now for Luke. Can he get a move done? He's out of ERS. He's going to maybe have to wait to the final DRS section. We've got Brandon keeping it nice and smooth. Jetfish really struggling on his tyres. Very careful again through there. Watch it on the curbs. And he's within DRS on this straight. It's going to all come down to this last straight for second place. Colin is about to round the final corner. And he's going to be too far back, Brandon. Here, I'll just quickly go on board with Colin as he takes the line. Oh, he's slowing right down. Oh, he's letting Fretty unlap himself. And Brandon is just not going to have enough time. Oh, and 2 tenths down. Can Luke do anything about the other Mercedes? And he's going to end up similar, just 2 tenths down. And Davey crosses the line in 7th. We've got Westy with a great race up in 8th. 20 laps he did on those hard tyres. Entity recovery up to 9th. Andrew in 10th. Smanotla coming home in 11th. Maggot 12th. We've got, well, it's 11th now because of penalties. Puggy is crossing the line in 13th. 14th for Mr. Backer here. He'll be very, very disappointed with that because he had very good race pace. And then we'll have Glassy. Oh, Backer takes the fastest lap though. An extra point for Aston Martin. No problem, Blocker. It was a... I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. No problem for the commentary. Can Glassy take that fastest lap back off Backer and get some vital points for McLaren in the Constructors? He rounds the final corner now. And as he crosses the line, I don't think he managed to do it. I think Backer keeps the fastest lap there. So a disappointing race for Glassy there. Great qualifying base, but really struggled in the race. And Brandon, driver of the day, yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. What a great recovery from him for the second week in a row. But also Colin, absolutely unbelievable pace tonight and absolute dominant. And as we say it, speak of the devil, and he will appear. And there he is. We've got Colin in first, from Jetfish second, and Brandon third. That is also the top three in the championship. Colin will gain 10 points on Brandon, so it'll be up to 18 points with 3 races to go. I'm not even going to bother trying to do the constructors. All I know is it's going to be oh so tight in the last 3 races. Constructors all still to play for. Drivers' Championship all open still. And we'll see next week what the guys can do. And it'll be very interesting to tune in for the next 3 weeks to see how this one ends up. Thank you to the chat for bearing with us when we had the technical difficulties earlier. And yeah, I'm with my throat tonight. I'm not going to do any podium interviews because I would like to give my throat a rest if that's possible. But be sure to tune in next week for some more Premier Division racing on Thursday night. We've got the seniors on Tuesday night, and we've got Championship and First Division on Wednesday night. Thank you very much, everyone who came to watch, and thank you to the drivers as well who put on a great race once again. And I will see you next week.